Hey, I'm Peter. Welcome to What's on Your Minds. And today we're not going to talk about selling, mindsets, nor marketing, nor entrepreneurship. Maybe a little bit. We're going to talk about astrology. And we're going to do this with the man himself, the Leomystic. His real name is Michael van den Bossche. And he's a partner of Charlotte Bare, which I already had as a guest on What's on Your Minds. And we're going to talk about astrology. Michael actually studied marketing, and over the years he changed and found his passion in Kundalini yoga and astrology. So if you think astrology is like the typical horoscope thing from a magazine, no it isn't. Curious? Enjoy our conversation with Michael van den Bossche or the Leomystic. Bye bye!
Welcome to What's on Your Mind with Peter Snowart. Every week a guest talks about his or her story, and that story can inspire you to change your own. Here's Peter.
Are you ready?
I'm more than ever ready.
Hey, Michael van den Bossche, the Leomystic.
Yes.
What a name.
It's a long name. I love it. It's bombastic in a way. It's epic. Yeah.
Like you?
Yes.
In a positive way, eh?
I don't know about that, but yeah. Thank you.
Now, I know you via your life partner, Charlotte Bare, sorry. What I found very amazing about you, if I looked back a little bit on your Facebook and your LinkedIn account, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, you were really into sports. You looked like an average sporty guy who, and it's maybe perception, who was really more focused on the outside, how things looked, and who was really involved. Look how muscled I am, and look at me. And then came the transformation, and now you are you, which is like, that's just one word, love.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
I mean, you studied also, what is the name? Translator? Spanish, English, I believe?
Interpreter and
Interpreter, yes.
German and Spanish.
Yeah. You spent also a year in where was it? In Spain, I believe, to study. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, and now you're a Kundalini yoga teacher. You're an astrologist. You're a coach. You also give change management trainings. What the hell happened there?
Where?
I mean, I'm going to start with the beginning. Like when you were like 8 years, 10 years young. I mean, were you born in a spiritual family?
Well, in hindsight, I would say yes. Um, but not directly or so. I definitely remember that I went to the church with my grandmother, but that's very Catholic. So, in a way, I've always received those spiritual ideals and, thinking about God. But my father is definitely not like, he's agnostic. Yes and no. My grandfather, I with my grandparents more than my parents. And, my grandfather was always, he passed away like a month ago, and he's still with me so deeply. He was like a herborist. He was always learning about plants and how to heal with plants and naturopathy. And so I guess that part has always, my grandparents really left an imprint on me, I feel, and I think that's where that comes from.
Are they still alive?
No, my grandmother died 5 years ago. My grandfather just a month ago, and it's funny because 5 years ago, which is what you were talking about, right, is when that turning point started happening, and it goes together with the death of my grandmother, and then now the death of my grandfather, all of a sudden as well, made a huge shift, and they're like milestones or turning points. This time it was more about relationships and how I interacted with people.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was more about my inner world. And it's funny because my grandmother's name is Maria, and so you could say Mother Mary, and who uh, guided me the way back home into myself. And now my grandfather's name is Arthur, which is the king, and really that wants to establish itself or establishes itself in the world. And I feel the same way in a way, but more in relationships. And it's yeah.
And what I really appreciate about you is that you, of course, your looks have changed, but at the same time, I mean, you are very grounded and you're very earthy at the same time. I spent a weekend with you and your partner. You're normal human beings, and yeah, in a relationship. So I mean, you're not completely, how do you say that? Lots of people would be lost in woo woo land, but you're not. I mean, you can also enjoy life in an earthy way. I'm going to maybe say it in a terms where you understand, in a 3D and a 5-day way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Well, I find that very important, because, well, I guess I've learned because of coaching people and starting my own business, how to communicate a message. I mean, I've studied marketing as well in school, and um, it's really, I saw how the spiritual talk and the, as you call it, the woo woo talk, really scared people. And I have a heart for people, and I really want to help them in as much as possible. And I feel, as I studied translator and interpreter, that the way you um, well, translate your inner world to the outer world, meaning to your relationships to the people around you, is so crucial. And words help or break people. So the gift of language is important there. And the groundedness, well, you know, um, it's, I guess, also because I suffered from panic attacks,
Yeah.
which, in a way, when I was 15 years old, right? And so bad even that I locked myself up in my room for 6 years almost. And, I definitely came out from time to time, but it was more, I was even experiencing anxiety attacks in my own bed. There was no place I was safe. So there was no other way for me to learn to be grounded and to learn to appreciate earth, appreciate the earthy life. And that part of me just looked for, in a way, a healthy, happy, spiritual self. Because for me, spirituality, really, what it really is one, it gives you do something that gives you energy.
Mm-hmm.
Two, uh, you are aware of a power bigger than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And three, you are aware of every thought, action, and word on your
Yeah.
surroundings, and you do it, with an intention of helping, loving, caring. Not to say that that's always easy, um, but I think that's where that comes from. Yeah.
And was there something? I mean, the wisdom, and I know the wisdom is already in you, but was there something that start an event that triggered you to that, I don't want to call it awakening, but that transformation? Was it the death of your one of your grandparents, or was it because you felt that you were very far away from the person who you are because of the expectations of people, or you just felt that there was something wrong in your life, that it was not you?
That's a very good question, and I think it is an like years that we're talking. I think the anxiety attacks when I was 15 years old
Mm-hmm.
was my first call to, really start the search for myself. Um, at 21, 22 is when I really realized what I could be. And then at 26, 27 was when my grandmother died. And that is definitely when that warrior inside of me
Mhm.
awakens to establish that part of myself that I discovered in the world, but still was very frightened and still was very fighting and believed in the grind, and was caught up in the business world of doing things. And but I needed that to you know build myself in a world. But then the awakening, if you call it, and I think that was what was you were that was what you were talking about in the beginning of more the exterior versus the interior. That really happens um, when I remember that day very well. Honestly, I was shooting a video for my course, habits, how to build healthy habits, etc. And I was on Instagram, and I saw then how Instagram was changing and how people were posting only positive pictures and only la la la, and I was like, what is this crap in a way? Why are people? I can feel and see that it's not fully how they're truly living their lives. And no one is talking about how painful it is. And so I was like, okay, done. So for 6 months, I just like 2 years before that, I started my business, and it was actually going really, really well. I was training people physically then in kinesiology and life coaching a bit, but I said stop. And for 6 months, I just didn't want to do anything, and in a way that was very scary because well, there was no money coming in anymore, and I
But
didn't.
why you didn't want to coach any people anymore? Because of the fact that you saw positive, well, fake
Well,
posts on Instagram, which you said this is not right. This is
right, and I was actually, I was, I guess it was calling me to look at myself
okay.
as well, right? And so that's why I said what I'm doing right now, I really like. I enjoy doing it, but I don't enjoy doing it. It's almost my path, but it's not fully my path. And
Hmm.
so that's actually a good question. I was going too fast there, where it's like, okay, no, stop with all the things that you're doing. Uh, you yourself too need to look at what's going on within you. And I felt a call to do something different. And I had just attended a um, Kundalini yoga and astrology retreat with Kaipacha Lesher, who is an astrologer. And it blew my mind so much. And I guess that too triggered it. And so for 6 months, I just did nothing. I mean, it's not that I did nothing, but I really went inwards. I really listened. I read the book. I forgot what's the name again. Oh, The Anatomy of a Calling. Yes, by Lisa Rankin, who's a doctor. So
Yeah.
the calling, and that was what I needed back at the days, because it was really explaining to me what a soul calling was. And um,
That's
then
really what you're explaining right now. That's really, and I don't know what's the translation in English right now, but that's one of the laws is that so binnen so buiten, what you're explaining right now, what you did. So within, so without, or what is the exact?
so below as without, so within.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's indeed. So
Uh, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it
because a lot
was.
of people, if they would experience something, they would try to change the external world and try to point and become some kind of victim and say no, it's the other. It's no, you have to change.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. And I think I was living a lot like that, and that's why, you know, when I was a coach and was training people physically, you I was looking at marketing, and everybody was, you know, selling in a way their body and looked good. So I believed that I had to do that as well. And, you know, it was like, but then indeed I guess it was just something calling me literally. It's not that I heard a voice or something. It's just deep intuition, just deep gut feeling that I have.
You felt that the energy you felt, it's off. You really felt like there's something not right here. Some kind of, I wouldn't call it emptiness, but you and when you change your path and when you're on the right path, you feel, yeah, this is it. This energy, this is right.
Yep, totally. Yep. That's it. You know, um, it is like I said, spirituality is doing something that gives you energy. And when you know, this is for the people watching too, you know, when you're doing something that you do not enjoy doing all the time, it's not that you don't have to do things that you don't enjoy doing. I mean, there's sometimes actually that's what you should be doing sometimes. But when you're doing that constantly, then you have to ask yourself questions. And you know, why am I doing this? Is this really what I want to do? You know, and why would you keep doing that? Because if your health and your, you know, mental health, physical health, your wealth is suffering because of it, well then, you know, there's no point in keeping living that life. You know, and it's not that you should end your life, but then just really think about, is this really the life I want? And having the courage to look at that. And the cool thing is that when you look at that and when you follow that, it sounds and looks scary in the beginning, but if you follow it, you're guided along the way.
That's
The
true.
abundance just comes on your path out of nowhere, but you have to have the courage and
Yeah.
show.
But the thing is also that you're now 31,
33.
33. So as you know, I'm 45, mentally 21. As that the thing is that I mean, a lot of people, and this is not a judgment, I mean, a lot of people, they think in kind of projects. So they're like, I go to university or high school or whatever, I get a degree, then I start working, then I met a girl or a guy, then we buy a house, no, we live together, then we buy a house together, maybe a dog together, then we get a nice car, then we maybe start a business or work, whatever. Then we marry together, or we make a baby or two or three together, and so maybe you move together to another house, and then you're jumping from project to project. Also, like when you're 25, 30, your career is really that's what the society is telling you. Yeah, then you should be going into the upstream and going for it and way up. But the thing is, once you start reaching that big four, so 40 something, you've experienced most of it. I mean, and then the projects are gone. And then a lot of people are like, yeah, okay, we have now two kids. Now we have each other. We have friends. Yeah, and now what we're going to do. And if, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you choose, just like you and me, if you're going to choose that different route and you're going to say, I want to live a more purposeful life, which is a spiritual life, then all these things don't matter anymore, because you know you're a man or a woman on a mission, and it's guiding you. It's guiding you. But you have to be prepared to go through the pain, and you have to be prepared to detach from everything. From everything. But the gain you get is that energy which keeps flowing in you, and that kind of, yeah, purpose. You're being carried by life. Maybe that's the best way to describe it. And in the other way, it's like you're being lived. You're surviving, actually. And it's always a drag to get up in the morning and you go to your work, and you put your kids to bed and you eat, and you repeat that complete cycle. And then when you're 80 and when you're dying, you're like, was this is it? So for me, that feels like it's, and especially because you maybe around 30, you're still in that party, but there comes a time that the projects are gone, and they're like, where are all my dreams? And for me, that's really the key to, allez, you're 31. The key is consciousness, is awareness. And allez, for me, it started way, way later than that. I had to go through lots of pain, divorce, almost suicidal things. And allez, that's the key really to, I wouldn't call it a happy life, but to a more, yeah, with more energy. It's really being, yeah, carried by that energy, by life itself, which you, it doesn't matter how old or young you're going to become, you know, you trust it's going to be okay, and you can step into that unknown, and you can let go of all the control.
Yeah, I like that. Nice. Um, it's the project way what you just described is quite that linear thinking too.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you know, we're born, and then this has to happen, and that, and do, and that's where it ends. But the soul, which is honestly the truest part of yourself, it's the infinite part of yourself. It is not linear. It is more, you know, circular,
Yeah.
and it is vortex like, as in it, you know, it keeps spinning and spinning, and it's just like the sun that comes up and goes down and comes up and goes down. It just never stops. And
And even Einstein proved that, eh? That's the linear time, which is an invention of the human beings. But Einstein really proved there is such a thing as in nature circular time, eh? Like you just described. He proved that with his theory. Eh?
yeah, exactly, exactly. And that's too. It's if we look at the ocean, waves come and go. You know, if we look at nature, um, seasons come and go, and it just never stops unless, you know, we now completely destroy the earth. uh, but I think there's a lesson in just looking around and looking to the wisdom of nature, looking to the wisdom of even not macro world, but the micro world where microbes and organisms are living together. The systems of the body are living together, working in one harmonious way. You are not in control of that. That's the. I mean, there's certain parts that you can control of your body, and that's the beauty of the human brain and the human heart. Um, but you know, you can't make that up. So it's we can learn so much just by observing within and without, and then just living by those rules in a way instead of living by human rules.
Yeah,
You know?
indeed. Now we're going to go back. So now you, like, one of the things you're doing besides coach is astrology, and I mean, a lot of people think it's complete bullshit. That they think it's like the horoscope from the magazines, which were totally made up, with some generic things. When, why did you become? I become. Why do you? Why are you so interested in astrology? Because it's a very complex matter, I find. You have to really dig deep in it. What attracts you so much in that science? I would call it.
Well, I've been an astrologer in many past lives. So the moment I really started looking at my soul, that's the first thing that really started coming up. It's also if you come back to this life and you don't believe in past lives and you just don't want to talk about that, it's the event of having my chart read blew my mind. And I was so interested. You know, I also think that studying languages and translation and interpreter is 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 what really prepared me for astrology because astrology is the language of symbols,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and we work in this world with archetypes. You know, the archetype of the mother, the father, the child, the prostitute, the victim. We all give names to understand in our brain to certain concepts and energies and psyches, and that's what astrology is. And um, it is my passion for esotericism and mysticism, the occult, and it explains life. I have a big passion to understand the universe, but at the same time understand this earthly life. And astrology is a language and a tool of many other tools that can help you do that.
Mm-hmm.
And astrology really, it is so earthy, it is so scientific, but people, definitely have this bias because it is not left brain science. It is not the science of today, which has become a religion, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, because the real good scientist is going to explore, leaves options open, and expect something. The biggest scientists have intuitive insights of, what would it mean when an apple falls down out of a tree? And so there is this yearning to understand life. And then you go and research. You research, how much weight is needed to fall down, where it comes from, is it the earth, is it the sky, and you just investigate. And that's what we do in astrology. We've been actually, it's one of the oldest sciences that exists, and in traditional history, it is about 3000 BC that they started recording in Babylon and in Egypt. But honestly, I am very convinced that astrology has been around for hundred thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, but even still, if you don't want to go there, 10,000 BC, people were already recording on caves the position of the moon. So we've always looked up to understand what was going on, and we started correlating that to this Earth. So, for instance, if the planet Mars was at a certain position in the sky, at that position, they said, oh my God, when Mars is there, there's wars happening. But when Mars is over there, kings are being crowned. And so that's what they've done with different constellations and different planets over time. And we can really say that's pure science in ways, observation, correlation. And then now we have quantum physics that proves that we are all photons, atoms, that are built up, that make cells, and cells make organs, and organs, well, cells make tissue, and tissue makes organs, and organs make systems, and systems make the body. So as we're all photons, and every piece of matter that has once been together will always be together, and that's pretty much the whole universe. And so that's why we're connected to these stars and planets energetically. And so they're just a physical representation of the energy that is going on. We have something to observe of what's going on within us, of the psyche of the human being. So,
and are you then, if you're meeting new people, are you then reflecting? Is it then the first thing you ask when you are born and the birth hour? Because can't you go too deep in it? Can't you just sometimes let things be and enjoy just the things how they are? Because that would be the trap that I would step in. I would analyze everything, everybody.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question, because until recently, I'm just able to let it go now. But about 6 years, that's what I intensely did. Oh, when are you born? Oh my God, you're a Capricorn. Oh my God, you're a Gemini. And this means that, da 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 da. But I guess it was a big process of just me learning what the language was and try to study and observe and correlate. And now I just don't do it anymore, because I read charts every day. And so it's actually really good to step back from it from while to while. But sometimes it is stronger than me, and it's weird. I sometimes can't think normal, as in, like, my normal way is to see someone walking and see a chart walking or something,
But
It's,
as you know, I'm a musician, a guitar player. I have the same. When I hear music, I hear like, oh, okay, that's F sharp major 7. Okay, and how do they do that? What's that magic? And so I can enjoy the music, I enjoy the energy, but I also, yeah. So I listen to the energy. Really, like, is this passionate play? And how did they play? Was it with intensity? And then you have, yeah, the scales and the notes and the way it's constructed, because I like that part, because I want to know the magic behind the correlation of the melody and the chord structure. And yeah, it's and then I listened. Oh, okay, there's the bass, there's the kick, there's the drum, there's the keys. Okay, there's the guitar. So literally I can listen like that to a song, where other people are like, yeah, it's music, but like, how did you do that? Okay. Okay, that's F minor, C minor, E flat, B flat, which is like the weekend blinded lights. Like, okay, okay, that's how they do it. Okay, interesting. So, but also the thing is, I believe when I was, I think 8, 9 years ago, starting with all these self improvement or self help books and coaching books, is the first thing your tendency is to help everybody
yeah.
when they don't ask for it. I think it's also a little bit in that. It's like, okay, then you're like this. But now it's like when somebody is approaching you are going to ask you for help, then you can help. But if they're not going to ask you, I suppose you don't do that.
Well, I mean, I used to do that exactly as you say, but then I learned the hard way that when people don't want to change, they're
Yeah,
not going to
yeah.
change.
They-
So doing it because you give so much energy of yourself, and why? It, and there's so many other people that want to be helped. So what you're really doing then is blocking these people out of your life, and also then you need to live. um, so this is since everything is energy, this flow of energy, this currency, money, value doesn't stream to you because you're constantly putting your energy towards something or someone that does not want to be helped.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
That's again, so within without it. Did your group of friends around you, did that then? I assume that transformed also huge.
Yep.
Is that painful?
Well, no. I guess I've always I'm a little bit atypical in that sense, um, that I rarely miss people. For instance, I lived in Ecuador and in Colombia, uh, and when I was living there, I for 3 4 months I forgot. I literally forgot to call my parents. And it's not that I don't love them. I love them to bits, and they're the most beautiful people on earth. They did such a great job in educating me. But I'm just living life right now
Right
and
here.
right here. And I'm enjoying the people around me. Now, I have to say that I also have the best friends, and that the old friends are literally still my best friends. They know me so well, and when I was living in Colombia for 10 months, after 10 months, I really noticed that there is this deeper connection that you miss, uh, because even though you meet people and you have a great connection, people that know you from your past, there's always this homecoming, in a sense, to a to a self that feels safer. um, but I guess also some people, that were my friends back then, even though they were my old friends, they fulfilled their role, and they had to move on. I had to move on and make room for new people that were more on the same vibration that I was becoming. It's all vibration, and whatever thoughts you start imprinting in your mind, whatever beliefs you start having becomes your character, becomes your destiny. And so it's all these energetic patterns, all thoughts. Thought is just an energy. A thought wave is a wave. So it's an energy that becomes part of you. And so that energy then starts not vibrating on the same level as that person. So it fades away. So for me, it really was not painful. It like, and honestly, right now, I only have contact, deep contact with just 3 people from the 50, 60, hundreds people that I used to know. And all the friends that I have right now are new friends, like the last 4 or 5 years. But that's a deeper soul connection that I also have with these 3, 4 people.
Yeah.
But it's more heart
Yeah.
than, yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was the thing I felt when we've met each other. Sometimes you don't need words. It's like, okay, it's there. Now, you mentioned something interesting. Is that I want to talk about money. What is your relationship with money, and did that change? Because sometimes you hear like people who go more to the deeper in themselves, I would call it like that. They're like, money is dirty. I don't want any money anymore. You talked about already a little bit on money is also energy. It's vibration.
Yeah.
What, I mean, do you find it okay to make lots of money, or are you like, I don't need any money? What's your view on that?
I love money. I love money. It's and not in the sense of, oh my God, give me more money. It's just, it's an energy, it's a flow, it is an earthly thing. It's a tool that you can use for the good or for the bad. And people who say that I hate money or money's bad just don't understand fully what that truly is. Money is just a representation. Again, it's like those people, the friends, and the same as money. It's just a frequency, a vibration that you attract to you. And like I said, you can do so many beautiful things with money. It is part of this earthly life to enjoy. These are all gifts, and money is abundance. Because it is energy, and just like there's a lot. If you just think about how much grass or how many plants there are on Earth, that is abundance, and
Or
it
drops in the sea?
drops in the sea. That is so vast you don't even understand. And we just happen to have placed, as human beings, a lot of importance on something now. It used to be paper, but now it's even more proof that it is an energy or an illusion, because you look at your bank account and you see, oh my God, 45,000 euros. What does it even mean? And then it's like, oh, 30,000 euros. Oh my God, 100,000 euros. So it's like, it's just numbers. And it is, for me, a message of, okay, so here is the amount of love and flow that you allow in your life. Now, I do think, we can then start talking about poor people and rich people, and there is some part where when you were born in the slums, there's a little bit less. It's not impossible. You just have to get the right thoughts, meet the right people, have the, well, I guess too, we need to improve the love of the earth towards the people who are in need. And that's our big responsibility. And that's why I say, what you can do so many beautiful things with money if you just invest in a project, or how much money are you giving to non-profit organizations to save the trees, to save Amnesty International, and or doctor, what's it called again, Artsen zonder Grenzen, frontier doctors, or it's just, you receive it and then you can to give it.
Yeah.
So you're a vessel of, and I love money because I want to be as big of a vessel that can flow through me to the world.
It's like water, eh? I mean, if water is standing still, it's getting a smell. Water needs to flow.
Exactly. Yes.
Now, if you look from now and 5 years in time, in the future, or 10 years,
Yeah.
I mean, I assume that you're reading your own charts quite regularly, and do you have an idea where you're going, or a direction where you're going, and an idea how your life would look like? Because that's the thing that people expect from astrology. If I'm going to be together with this partner or not, am I going to be alive? These are the typical things that people want to know, which of course you will not get an answer in astrology. It's more giving you a direction. So, but I assume you're also going to dig in within yourself, looking for contradictions, looking for clues.
Well, I actually don't do
Okay.
that. I do it on a yearly basis, but I don't do it further than that. Sometimes, I mean, just out of curiosity, I just check like, oh, what is going to happen with Saturn? When is it going to, big events, as in, yes, but this is too, and I teach this in my course. I'm giving this Astrology 101 course, and where there's this 3D astrology versus 5D astrology. 3D astrology is really, oh, in 10 years, you're going to meet the person of your life. You're going to get bankruptcy, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But that's bullshit. And 5D astrology is really about, okay, there will be an energy available that you will be able to use or not use. But you have free will. And that is the most beautiful gift of a human being. So, and I actually use astrology to help people tap into their intuition more than to make predictions. I sometimes, and it's not even predictions, you just say what energies will be available and what you can make use of. And in a way, it's just saying, well, this is what the weather's going to be like in 1 week. We have to know whether it's going to rain or it's going to be sunny, that you have to wear your umbrella, or, just some short pants, whatever. That is important. But what is also important is to trust your intuition more. And that's what I do. And I tell people, I will always be the first to say, you actually don't need astrology. Why would you need astrology? You have all the astrology within you.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way I do it then is, well, you just look at your charts and you start observing and correlating constantly. And you just follow a planet, meaning, for instance, the moon, and you follow your emotions, your moods, your needs, and what happens. And then you just observe and you start feeling, you start recognizing patterns, you start coupling it to events on Earth. And so then you don't need that astrology anymore. It's just a tool. Mm-hmm. What you need is to come back to yourself and trust yourself. Trust your messages. Because you are, as you started by saying, as above, so below, as within, so without. That's all there is. And I think that the pitfall is that we start giving our power away again to astrology. We start giving our power away to yoga, to business, authority, whatever, the government. But that's what we've been doing for thousands of years. We have to end this. We have to stop. We have to look to ourselves and trust the messages that we receive within, and it's just so important because that's what's happening with watching the news. They know if you watch the news, they know if they're gonna spread some messages that you're gonna give your power away and hope that the government is gonna come and save you, to create a vaccine so that you can all be saved, go to the promised land. Bullshit. We don't need that. What we need is to look within ourselves and trust ourselves and talk with one another and just be open-minded for other opinions, to not get caught up in our own beliefs and thinking that we are God and that everyone needs to listen. No, we need to work together, trust one another, and be scientists from an intuitive side as well, and support the group. And then we can use tools like astrology, tarot, whatever tool there is out there to teach people to trust their intuition.
So what you're saying actually, it's a tool, but leave it like a tool. Don't make it the end goal or the complete truth. It's a tool. It's like a compass.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but that's the trap of it, because, and again, a lot of people will think, this is, especially people who are, I would call it, lost in their lives. And in the past, it was like religion who gave that that's construction that they would feel safe because they put their power into that. The priests would arrange their lives. Yeah, but nowadays, where should we go?
Well, I do think that is, we need to find a way where that does not have to happen again or anymore. But for now, it is sometimes a good thing that people find relief, so that then they can progress and grow, to then show them, listen, detach now. This tool has taken you where you needed to go. Now detach. So it is, sometimes it's actually good that people attach to a thing, but at some point they have to let go.
If you would go back in time and you would meet the Michael, the Michael, when he is 18 or 16 years young, what would you say to him?
Breathe, man, breathe. Chill the F out. Well, I mean, in a funny way, that's not really what I would say, but I guess I would say that it is that it's not the end goal that counts, that you have to enjoy the things around you a little bit more, to really feel and be present with a tree, a plant, your cat, your wife, your kids. It's so cheesy, it's so, but it's so true. It's so true. I was way too go getting and goal getting and my way or the highway, and I guess the whole reason why we're here is to create, but also enjoy our creations, because otherwise why are we creating if we are not enjoying these creations? And still, I guess because of 20 something years of conditioning, I sometimes find myself doing that, and it's just constantly coming back. Okay, relax, be present here. It's especially because society goes so fast. But yeah, just trust yourself more. Look at the tool of meditation and breathe, be present, look, really feel. the fruits when you eat it. Just taste it, you know, and
Breathing, I mean, I think a lot of people underestimate the power of breathing, because if once you start to um, take attention, put your attention on your breathing, especially because you when you're in a stress situation and you're going to breathe from here, from the chest instead of from the belly. Um, yeah, I don't have to explain to you. We went together to a very intensive breathing thing where we went into the sea, almost naked, and it was like, I don't know, a couple of degrees, but that breathing thing, you can tap into. It's like drugs.
yeah,
I didn't do drugs, but I assume that it's natural drugs, and and then when you get stressed, I think the first thing that I do when I feel stressed and I feel these thoughts coming is like, okay, is that breathing is really, and it really works instead of going into that, and then the energy changes. And you know how I know that? Because when my son is with me and he's getting in some kind of rage, then my energy changes and I become very calm, and he's changing,
ah,
and he feels that, and he's changing, and you feel that he's changing. And that's yeah, that's again, that's so within, so without.
yeah,
So it's that, okay, how can I change the situation? By changing yourself. Even Mahatma Gandhi said that. And you can do that simply. The simplest tool there is breathing.
exactly. Yeah, it's actually, you know, your breathing, if you think about it, is coupled to your nervous system, and your nervous system is your autonomic nervous system, your parasympathetic or sympathetic nervous system, which is pretty much the system that is in control of your rest and digest and your fight and flight, and you can regulate that. When you breathe rapidly, you're triggering, like you're gonna feel if you do that, you're feeling your senses being heightened. You look, you know, with more caution, and you feel your blood streaming. But if you just breathe in, breathe out, then you start landing in your body again. You're relaxed, you're calm. And so this is a tool to consciously regulate your state. And so then when you do that, you tell your body literally, calm down. So your nervous system now triggers your hormonal system, which is, you know, again, for repairing, for making sexual hormones instead of stress hormones. And so now when you do that often enough, then your body will start to, you know, habitualize and start to change the path of stress and fight flight, which is what we're doing. We're constantly focusing on stress and fight flight, and thus triggering hormones of stress, and our body becomes accustomed to it, so it will do it often, and that will trigger thoughts to reinforce. So you're constantly, oh, I need this, do. And so we're focused on our external world, versus if you breathe, you bring your attention inwards, your repair hormones, your relaxation hormones will trigger, your body will become accustomed to that, and then people will say, oh my God, you look so calm, you're Mr. Zen, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's because that's how, you know, the human law, the law of the human body works. And it's so simple. And it starts with breathing. So, yeah.
The you're also teaching or giving Kundalini yoga lessons, and I used to associate yoga with some kind of yeah, pussy like thing, very fluffy. But I have to say, the Kundalini yoga, I found it very intense and quite heavy. I mean, if you're not trained into that, it's a huge workout. Where did you get that passion for Kundalini yoga, Luni yoga? Because I some kind of energy shifting feeling.
Can I ask you why you find it so intense?
Why?
Yeah. What is so intense about it?
because the compared to other yoga, it's quite difficult for my personal muscles because I'm not that trained. I do work out, but I mean, yeah, I felt it was really straining my muscles. So there I had to grow through the pain, which is okay, yeah. But I found it to do it really properly. I find it quite challenging compared to other styles of yoga, which I believe are more adapted to Western society and are like a very, yeah, I wouldn't call it weak. That's maybe not the right term, but it's like yoga for beginners, for dummies, where Kundalini is more the advanced yoga. Is that correct?
Well, I'm not sure if it's more advanced. I think what it does do is that it incorporates actually uh, various disciplines, and it works more with the mind. So it will trigger more your blockages, your where you are feeling pain. Um, we're working, for instance, with something. Well, let's not make it too difficult. Yoga was used to. It was made to be holistic, to
Mm-hmm.
work with the breathing and the body and the singing and the mantras. And the Western is really focused on that physical aspect, the Western yoga. And so you just have to, be postures and I mean, it's not just, it's really intense as well, but if you do it really well, it can have that flow and you can reach the same state. Um, but Kundalini yoga really um, is going to trigger your um, your patterns of for instance, let's say that your pain, you've experienced pain when you had a sunburn, right? And or let's say that you had a, what's it called again, where you have when the sun hits you, zonneslag. I can't. Anyway, you become sick because you've been too long in the sun. So now that is stored in your memory. And so let's just say with Kundalini Yoga, we keep our hands up as we've done, and you're starting to feel that pain. But that pain, for some reason, triggers that same thought pattern when you were experiencing the sunburn or when you became ill. And so now your mind starts saying, oh my God, danger, go away because you're gonna be ill again. You're gonna have a sunburn again, which is crazy because you're keeping your arms up. How is that gonna happen? But that is that fear or that anger or that sadness or guilt or shame that is coming up that is actually more taxing than the physical part in and of itself. So now you're experiencing pain and fear and guilt and shame. And it's really what Kundalini Yoga is really good in doing is triggering that, but working through it through breathing patterns, but also through, various mantras that are different vibrations and where you are, such as positive affirmations, I love myself, or um, I take good care of my body, or I love you, or whatever. There, the mantras, for instance, such as Sat Nam or Ad Gure Name or Wahe Guru, they are different vibrations. They are positive affirmations that you're then constantly, over and over again, with the breathing, Satnam, 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 reinstating in your body, planting a seed and bursting through the blocks. And initially, it might be experienced as something painful, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Um, there's a lot of people who have a lot of pleasant experiences too. Um, but yes, sometimes when I think if you're ready to go deep and want to go deep, then you will receive deep. you know. Um, and so that is what Kundalini is able to do for you.
Now, I know you have read a lot and you're reading a lot. Isn't there a trap that you, I wouldn't call it become famous, but achieving some kind of guru status? How do you keep yourself in check that your ego doesn't run with you, because I'm quite sure you're aware of that, because that's always the game the ego is trying to play, because it's going to, okay, you cannot take me there anymore. I'm going to find a way so I can yeah, I wouldn't say be myself, but play my role. How do you stay humble? Because for me, you're a very humble guy, eh? To be quite
Thank you, man.
direct here.
Appreciate that. But I think that's a really, really good. Are you still there though? Because
Yes, yes, yes,
you
yes, yes, yes.
lost.
No, I'm there.
Okay, cool, cool. It's a question I ask myself constantly because um, I'm far from famous. I'm far from being an influencer, but I do already have
Following, yeah, yeah.
some influence and some followers. And it started, I would say, when I was teaching in companies. You know, there it's that same thing where we've talked about giving your power away. People have the tendency to, oh, the teacher. And what happened and what I've definitely done in my life was, I wouldn't say take advantage of that, but just enjoying that flow where, there was this, there was some friends and some, I would say, a nice lady who was really interested. And then you start asking yourself, is this because she's genuinely interested in who I am? Or is this because I'm a teacher? And so then you start asking that question. And now, especially because of the allegations against Yogi Bhajan and all these yogi gurus who have taken advantage. And honestly, you know, I just constantly am looking at myself, but that definitely has been a part where um, I can say sometimes afraid that I would do that. So I'm asking other people, how do you deal with this? How do you deal with that? Because I notice it, I feel it, I see it, and I don't want to be that person. And so, first and foremost, to answer that question is, I think that if there is uh, a guru part to that, then what we as new gurus should be doing, and when I say guru, I really want to honor the word guru. I want to say that guru means something, and it doesn't always have to be a person. Guru just means to take you from dark to light. Gu, dark, ru, light. And in essence, guru is wisdom. It's not even a person. It is it's
It's
just
within you. It's in every one of us.
exactly. It's within you. It's in every one of us. And so what we then, as these responsible human beings, as gurus, but meaning as people who have experienced a certain um, part of life and can give that gift, that you are a facilitator to uh, help people discover that part and not be in the spotlight and honor and take like that part of like, look at me. um, and I think I'm not sure how I do it fully,
But
but
you're aware of it. That's already a start. But the thing is, indeed, with social media like Instagram, you can scale exponentially, and it's definitely something to. I experienced something very strange this week. I had a colleague who came to me. He was 23, and he said to me, "You're like a celebrity." And like, what do you mean? Yeah, you have a podcast. In my world, a podcaster is like it's so amazing. And I'm like, okay. And I checked it via some articles I found on the internet, and it's correct. They have another life and they have another view in life. They don't, yeah, see life as we do. And and the thing is that everybody, and especially with social media, it can go very, very fast. It can scale rapidly. And yeah, I think awareness and consciousness is the only ticket that you will keep yourself in check, because I don't believe there is some kind of guru. Yes, you can learn some lessons from one person, then you can learn some lessons from the other, or wisdom, but the guru is inside yourself. So it's a tricky question, of course. Michael, it's yeah, there is no such a thing as this is the right answer. The fact is, you're aware of it. So for me, you're real. You're 100% real.
Yeah, I think, thank you very much, by the way. And um, I think if you just constantly look inward, which is what awareness is and consciousness is, and um, I think the pitfall, especially as a Leo, is to, I'm a Leo, so is to really take that gift that you give, because that's what Leos do too, in a way, is they are Leo. The sign of Leo is ruled by the sun, and if you look at the sun, what is the sun doing? It's the center of attention, and it is shining, but it is only shining because it gives heat, and so that people can live, so that we have that same function as Leos. And if you identify with that, that can be a pitfall. So that's why a mantra like I will, my will to divine will, meaning I'm just a channel. And if you just then repeat a mantra, for instance, as well, this is you, this is you. And by meaning you, I mean the universe, God. This is not me, it's you who created this. And so I guess it's a way of keeping in check with that. But, I think for me, that's my formula, and to really constantly ask myself that question, and being aware of when there's sexual attraction, because it will be there. You cannot ignore that. And that it happens. And then just instantly that this is you, or, this is no, let it flow. Do not interact with it. But, who knows? Like, I don't have a crystal ball. If all of a sudden I would have millions of followers, I'm not sure what would happen with me then, because I don't know. But I will always try my best. But I can't. Yeah.
And you also have trust and faith that the universe will bring you back to that good path, or the right path.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, there's Kundalini, there is astrology in your toolbox. I mean, I'm pretty confident you're looking, exploring, researching new tools to put in your box. What are you looking at right now to expand your toolbox?
Well, I am currently exploring nada yoga, which is funny because in Spanish nada means nothing, which is the essence of yoga. But nada yoga means the yoga of sound. So I am exploring uh, just how to work with sound, and how to listen to the true vibration of everything. Um, so learning to, in a way, A Course in Miracles is the same. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I know it. I have it.
So A Course in Miracles is just helping you look at life and the things around you in an objective way without distortion. And Nada Yoga does the same thing. So in a way, it's still yoga, but it's a different form of yoga. I am exploring esoteric, so like Blavatsky, the Secret Doctrine. Um, I am exploring maybe even a little bit of plant medicine. Uh,
Ayahuasca.
no, I don't feel called to ayahuasca. I'm just I mean, I have respect for it, and it is definitely an earthly medicine.
It's now in the Benelux is now already. It's quite hype, I think. It's quite getting very popular and even mainstream. Sometimes I think, is it really, really real, or is there any? No, I don't know.
That's a very good question, and something we have to ask. And as with everything, it dilutes and it loses its power. And but in a way, it's a good thing, because more and more people are experiencing that, and there will be more awakening. But it is very dangerous too sometimes to go too fast in something when you are not ready. That's what Kundalini the beautiful thing about Kundalini yoga is that you work gradually towards working with more energy. And energy meaning your nervous system, which is, for instance, your spine holds energy. Now, your level of awareness will determine your level of volts, of hertz. And if, because of ayahuasca, all of a sudden you get 10,000 volts through something that can only hold 120 volts, what is going to happen, do you think? You become crazy. Because you can't integrate all of that knowledge, of that wisdom. So you have to, it's a gradual process. And when it comes, and you'll be ready then.
Everything comes on time, eh?
Yes, everything comes on time. And so I feel that sometimes with ayahuasca, you really need someone who knows what he or she is doing, and you have to be prepared. So yeah, no, I just like to stick to just regular plant medicine for now. Again, what holds the future, I don't know. But if anything that I'm doing right now is just deepening my practice instead of exploring something more. I'm really getting so deep into astrology. The more you learn about astrology, the more you discover that you actually know shit. So it's interesting, it's there, it never stops. Astrology is for, like I said, I have been an astrologer in other lifetimes, and it's probably going to be in other lifetimes. It's to learn for 10, 15 lifetimes.
It's that circular thing. It's always coming back to zero and like, okay, then now.
Exactly.
Now, one of the last questions, or maybe the last question. I know, and I think, and I feel you have still a very big dream in you, a very crazy dream. What is that?
Yeah, that's a very deep intuition that you have there. For me, well, I'm dreaming that dream every day. I'm doing the Dr. Joe Dispenza meditation, the second one of Blessings of the Energy Centers, where you install symbols in each chakra, and then the biggest dream for me is where we gather with all humans together, and we're really like what I've started doing with circles of light, but on a world scale.
Can you explain that a little bit? Because I know what it is, but people don't know.
So circles of light is meant to work with the power of love, light, and intention. It's pure science. Dr. William Tiller has explored this and written in massive scientific papers about this. Dr. Joe Dispenza as well, Dr. Bruce Lipton, you can all check it up. This is pure science, where when you gather, just by yourself already, you dream intention, you send it out, you send love, you have heart-brain coherence, and you can impact your environment energetically. But if you do it with a group, it is obviously amplified. And so that's what I intended to do, is that first, leadership is failing. And so we have to, instead of giving power away, take our own power. Two, we understand the power of intention, of light, of love, of sending love, of dreaming a dream and sending that intention into the world. And now we're coming together in circles, respecting the rules of Corona and whatever they're trying to install on us. We always will have respect for that. But we don't need to react to rules. We don't need to react to a virus. We can create, which is the same letter as react, create, react, just create. And so what I do then now is we started with 8 people and coming together in a public space and really visualizing the same thing, a better world, that the people around us are receiving light, that it is impacting the animals, the trees, whatever. So, but that big dream then is to really every single human being that is able to connect on a telepathical level, that will then visualize the same dream and chant Om or whatever together, whatever mantra, but with reverence and respect for this earth, and because of it, becoming the mind of the earth and realizing that we are the earth, thinking as the earth, and because of it, a whole big light just coming through us and connecting us and being in a state of bliss, and the earth just moving towards a higher frequency. And part of that dream is just installing retreat centers and bed and breakfasts, you know, at the same time, communities, all of that together.
Tribes.
Across the tribes, across the whole world, and just supporting one another, living sustainable, and having my base in a country where, for myself and my own, you know, needs, in a way, sun, something where there's always sun. You know, that's the only thing I need. So yeah.
You're lion, eh? And lion is sun.
Yes, that's true.
Is there something we did not talk about, Michael, that you want to share? Of course, we can go on for hours, but...
Yeah, I feel honestly, we've really covered a lot of ground, and I feel this has been a very beautiful conversation with extremely good questions, and I feel that, sometimes silence is better than more words. Yeah. So thank you.
Is the silence between notes that is music, eh?
Yeah, very bad. Yes.
So, Michael, the Leomystic, thanks a lot. I'm very grateful having you. I'm very also grateful knowing you.
Absolutely.
Because you're really a beautiful, beautiful soul. And everybody is listening, really check out his Instagram page and the retreats they are doing, because they're mind-blowing. Yeah, it's one of the best weekends I ever had. And everybody said that, eh? So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Peter, for having me on your podcast, and keep on spreading that word too, because the questions that you ask are powerful, to the point, and they, in a way, provoke to answer honestly, and in a way, you show the lights that the people have, and that reminds the people that they have that light, and so thank you for that.
Thank you, Michael. Hey, it's Peter here. Thanks a lot for listening to What's on Your Mind. Looking forward to your opinions and comments. And don't forget to subscribe on psgrow.com and leave your email address to stay tuned for future episodes. Bye!